Welcome back, high school football fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report. For the Central Indiana Sports Report's Week 9 Central Indiana High School Football Scoreboard Show. This being part 1 of the Scoreboard Show, which is the scores and highlights. I'm joined on the Riverside app by Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader, who witnessed Elwood's 34-27 win over Frankton. And we're going to hear more about that game coming up and in part 2 of our podcast. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you, Greg. It's always a pleasure. It's hard to believe that this is week 9 of this. Next week, we'll have a complete, rundown again. But after that, we'll have fewer.
The show's going to start getting shorter every week.
It looked like, in looking at the scores tonight, it looked like there's some really good high school football games tonight.
It was a wild night, Michelle, and we start in the CIC, where Eastbrook won its first CIC championship outright since 2021, but the 15th time the Panthers have gone unbeaten in the CIC. They've only been in the league 22 years. Eastbrook 21, Oak Hill 3 was the final there. Oak Hill's regular season ends at 5-4. Mississinawa came into the game hoping to get some help from Oak Hill to be co-champions of the CIC, but it didn't happen. Mississinawa, however, held up its end of the bargain. The Class 3A number 7 Indians topped Madison Grant 28-16, scoring the final 15 points of that contest. Madison Grant with 5-4 in the regular season. And the game Michelle was at, it was Elwood 34, Frankton 27. Elwood, first win over Frankton since 2015. That was Marty Wells last year as Elwood's head coach, Michelle. Elwood's first 3-win season since 2016.
Yeah, it was an exciting game. It was a rushing attack versus Frankton's aerial attack. And so like you said, we will talk about more about this game in part 2.
Looking forward to that. Really happy for Coach Morales to have a really nice season, and they're pretty young.
They are, but you know what? Frankton is really young, too. Marty said he started only 2 seniors on offense tonight and 2 seniors on defense. A lot of returning players from both teams next year.
We could see those 2 teams climbing the standings. Alexandria finished the regular season 7-2. The Class 2A number 12 Tigers beat Blackford 64-0. Blackford's second winless regular season in the last 3 years. And, of course, Alexandria hosts unbeaten Eastbrook on Friday.
That could be a doozy. For the Tigers, this is what it's going to be about, that. Those T-shirts that they had, the finish. So we'll see, but it should be a good one next Friday.
We will be previewing the sectionals all week next week. So please subscribe and join us for all of those. I'm just going to tell you, Michelle, I'm taking Alexandria to win that game. We move to the Hoosier Conference, where the Western Panthers won the Hoosier Conference Big School Championship despite losing to Twin Lakes tonight. It was 3A number 13 Twin Lakes 22-15 over the Panthers. Twin Lakes 7-2. Western now 6-3. The Indians overcame a 15-0 halftime deficit. Ethan Need to Cooper Dold for the only 2 touchdowns of the fourth quarter. And the Panthers win the conference championship because West Lafayette defeated Hamilton Heights 24-8 in the Huskies' 3-game winning streak.
That's a little bit surprising. I would have expected that game to be closer.
I thought Hamilton Heights would win that game, but as we said in the preview, West Lafayette is playing a lot better.
Yeah, and I think I took Heights in the preview because I said I thought Heights' defense was better because West Lafayette's played better, but their defense. Tonight, it sounds like their defense may have played its best game of the year.
And what we expected to happen at Benton Central is exactly what happened at Benton Central Tipton. 55-0 for a 5-4 regular season, and they close out their Hoosier Conference Small School Division Championship.
That was 55-0 at halftime. Tipton scored 41 points in the second quarter. Blue Devils, I think Aaron played pretty much his subs in the second half.
Rensselaer Central has its best regular season since its 2014 unbeaten state championship team, finishing 7-2 with a 36-35 overtime win over Logansport. And Guerin Catholic is 5-4 after a 59-28 win over Central Catholic.
That Rensselaer-Logansport game, it was won because Rensselaer completed a 2-point pass to win that game, conversion pass. And so, Rensselaer doesn't like to throw the ball a lot. So I'm sure that might have been a little bit of a shock on the conversion, but what a wild game.
Now to our local independents. Class 6A number 2 Carmel overcame Lawrence Central. The Greyhounds trailed all night and scored with a minute 35 left on a Josiah Gilmore 3-yard run for the win. Lawrence Central drove down the field and had a game-tying field goal attempt that was blocked by Carmel. The Greyhounds finished the regular season 8-1.
I saw the clip of the winning touchdown. It came with little time remaining, and then of course, their special teams came up big to block that field goal by Lawrence Central at the end of the game. A big win for the Greyhounds. I didn't see any stats on Anthony Koldner yet, so I don't know how many yards he passed. So to see if how close he's gotten to Mark Herman's record, or if he perhaps surpassed it tonight, career yardage. So I will be anxiously looking for those stats later.
Also a thrilling game. It was Lapel 21, Eastern Hancock 20. The Bulldogs came back from 20-7 down in the second half to finish the regular season unbeaten for the first time. The difference was after a celebration penalty, Braden Johnson had to kick the game-winning extra point from 35 yards, and he made it.
Am I not correct? Wasn't it Devin Craig to Jackson Kripe for all 3 touchdowns?
It was.
Yeah, that's what I said. Devin Craig is the difference for Lapel because he's such a good quarterback, and he doesn't get rattled, and he seems to thrive in situations where his team falls behind.
Shenandoah improved to 6-3 with a 44-13 win over Monroe Central. West Dell defeated Cambridge City 70-8. West Dell's best season in over 20 years, Michelle.
What a terrific year it was for West Dell. There was a time I remember going over to West Dell when covering Tri-Central and West Dell in the tournament, or because it used to be when they played at West Dell, it used to be a Saturday homecoming game, and going over there and it being very competitive because West Dell was pretty good, and so I always hated to see them fall on hard times, and so it's nice to see them kind of revamping.
And they are at 5-4 try next week. And 6A number 4 Center Grove in a big game tonight, 33-12 over Bloomington South, the Panthers' first loss of the season. In the Hoosier Heartland, Eastern won a share of the Hoosier Heartland Conference Championship with a 25-8 win over Clinton Prairie. And Sheridan also won a share of the championship with a 20-7 win over Carroll, although Eastern did thrash Sheridan last week. So if there's a tiebreaker, Eastern wins it. And another one I'm shocked by, Michelle, Delphi 35, Taylor 21. The Oracle's now 14-0 all-time against the Titans.
Yeah, that game shocks me. I'm not shocked by Sheridan and Carroll. And, of course, we both expected Eastern to beat Clinton Prairie.
In the Three Rivers Conference, Rochester is your conference champion after a 40-6 win over Maconaquah. The Zebras and Braves now both 8-1. It's Rochester's first conference title since 2022. Zach Parks had 3 touchdown runs for the Zebras.
Great, you predicted that. We both predicted Rochester to win. You predicted it to not be close at all. You were right. This is a very good Rochester team. I kind of feel sorry for Elwood next week. They get to have 3-win season, and then their reward is turn around in week 1. They have to go, or at least they get to host, but they have to host Rochester, a very good football team this year.
And in a crazy one in the Three Rivers Conference, It was Northfield 62, Northwestern 55 in triple overtime. The Tigers trailed by 21 points in the second half, came all the way back and took the lead. Northfield then tied it to send the game into overtime and then won it in 3 overtimes.
Greg, that may have been the most surprising game for me. I never expected Northfield to be close at all, and I would have never expected a 62 or whatever to 55 victory. I mean, that just is wild.
Wild. Cass is 6-3 after a 21-13 win over Southwood, and Manchester is 6-3. Great season for them after a 35-21 win over Peru. And Wabash won its second game of the season with a 36-35 win over Whitco. In the North Central Conference, Lafayette Jeff is your conference champion for the second straight season and 4 times in the last 5 years with a 55-22 win over Muncie Central. This game was only 19-16 at the half, but the Broncos pulled away to win another conference championship.
Lafayette Jeff, they're good. They just get some really good weapons. It'll be interesting to see how they do, how far they go in the tournament.
They look like the best team in the North to me. Really good to see Muncie Central be competitive in that game. Look forward to seeing what they can do in the future.
I think Coach Burrish is going to just continue to make Muncie Central better. And I know they've always been primarily known for basketball in the past, but they could really become a football school under his guidance.
Kokomo won its third game of the year, 50-14 over Richmond. Marion won its first game since week 2, 58-21 over Anderson. Jaden Johnson ran for 219 yards and 5 touchdowns for the Giants. Tim Jones added 169 yards on the ground. In the Hoosier Heritage Conference, New Palestine won its 33rd consecutive conference game and won the conference championship outright for the 4th straight year, beating Delta 56-7. Pendleton Heights beat Shelbyville 49-7 to win 8 games in the regular season, their most since their 1998 team that started that season 11-0. And 4A number 14 Yorktown beat Mount Vernon 72-0. Back-to-back 7 wins for the Tigers. They've had 28 wins in the last 4 years, and they drew a first-round bye in Sectional 21. And Greenfield Central is 5-4 after a 52-27 win over Newcastle. The 5th straight winning season for the Cougars. Travis Nolting really doing a good job there with the Cougars.
I don't think we were really surprised by any of those scores in that conference.
Nope. I think 72-0 surprises me a little, but other than that,
Mount Vernon is going to be a good basketball team this year. They've got Prime Minister Basketball on their team, and Luke Ertl, and maybe they're just kind of starting to think, hey, we've had a lousy football season. It's time to turn the page.
Yeah, they play Pendleton Heights next week in their sectional opener. Oof. 6A number 7 Lawrence North beat Pike 42-7 to finish the regular season 7-2 and win the Mid-Indiana Conference for the second year in a row. Zay Jones, 5 more touchdowns. That gives him 29 on the year and 60 for his career, and he is just a junior. It was 5A number 4 Cathedral, 28-21 over 6A number 10 Warren Central. Both teams are now 6-3. And Michelle, 2 of their final 3 games in the regular season, Cathedral won at Center Grove and at Warren Central. They also beat Ben Davis in week 1. In the Hoosier Crossroads, Brownsburg ends the regular season unbeaten, avenging last year's only loss, 35-7 over Hamilton Southeastern. Westfield finishes the regular season 6A number 6 Westfield finishes the regular season 7-2 after a 42-7 win over Franklin Central. The Rock's only losses this year came to number 1 and number 2. 6A number 9 Fishers 28-18 over Zionsville. The Tigers will likely have a sectional championship rematch with Hamilton Southeastern in 3 weeks. And it was 6A number 13 Avon 31-10 over Noblesville. They clinched their first winning regular season since they went 9-1 in 2019. That's 8 straight losses for the Millers, who face Fishers in 2 weeks. In the Monon Conference, it's Cascade that comes away with the conference championship after beating Western Boone 56-9. The Cadets 9-0. They have 18 straight regular season wins and should roll to their first sectional title since 1992. Southmont finished second in the conference. They went 8-1 in the regular season with a 62-42 win over Greencastle, which I believe gave up 5,000 points this season. And Crawfordsville defeated Frankfort 49-12. North Putnam defeated North Montgomery 36-28. Crawfordsville and North Putnam are both 4-5.
Yeah, Greg, that Cascade team is, they're like a beast. It will be interesting to see when they get challenged in the postseason.
They will likely play either number 1 Evansville Memorial or number 2 Gibson Southern in the semi-state. In the Sagamore, Harrison is your kind of champion. After beating Lebanon 26-7, Harrison went 2-0 in the conference. They didn't play everybody, so I don't think there's really a conference champion this year. It ends Lebanon's 7-game winning streak. Kind of a surprise, but Harrison's not bad.
No, Harrison is not bad. I am a little surprised. I'm maybe more surprised by the final score, that the difference was what it was.
For sure. Danville goes to 5-4 with a 49-19 win over Ritter. And 2A number 6 Lutheran defeated McCutcheon 23-13. Lutheran is now 8-1, McCutcheon 2-7. 6A number 8 Decatur Central clinched the Mid-State Conference Championship with a 48-10 win over Franklin. That's 7 straight wins for the reigning Class 5A state champions. 5A number 8 Whiteland beat Greenwood 41-7. Number 10 Plainfield beat Martinsville 14-7. And Mooresville is 5-4 after a 42-21 win over Perry Meridian. In the Circle City Conference, number 1 and unbeaten Cincinnati Elder 28-7 over Class 4A number 1 Chittard. And Michelle, that means Chittard is really, really good.
Yes, I don't know when is Chittard not really, really good anymore.
That's correct.
I know I would not want to be in their section.
You know who is Ron Colley. They're pretty good too. They beat East Central tonight 28-16. Big win for the Royals. I almost called them the Rebels again. Colin Ash 11 for 14 for 171 yards and a touchdown pass and 2 rushing touchdowns for the Royals. And Brebeuf got its second win of the season 47-7 over Terre Haute North. Some other big games around the state for the ACAC Championship. It was Adams Central 57-18 over Woodland. The Jets finished 9-0. And number 2, Brownstown Central 34-14 over 3A number 8 Scottsburg for the Mid-Southern Conference Championship. 6A number 3 Crown Point beat 5A number 13 Michigan City 42-28 for the Duneland Conference Championship. And 6A number 5 Penn finished its regular season unbeaten, beating 4A number 6 South Bend St. Joseph, giving St. Joseph its first loss of the year. That was for the Northern Indiana Conference Championship. 8-1 Pioneer defeated 7-2 North Judson 36-18 for the Hoosier North Conference. Hammond Morton won the Great Lakes Conference with a 58-6 win over East Chicago Central. And 3A number 11 Griffith beat 2A number 9 Wheeler 34-10 for the Great Southern Shore title. Class A number 1 Springs Valley beat Class A number 9 North Davies 13-8. Both teams went into that game unbeaten. 2A number 4 Andrean beat 4A number 11 Lowell 19-3. Andrean's going to be a tough out in the postseason. Northview defeated 2A number 8 Linton Stockton 35-14. Northview is now 8-1. Winchester beat Union City 61-28 to improve to 8-1. The Golden Falcons are ranked 11th in Class 2A. 3A number 1 Evansville Memorial 37-7 over 5A number 11 Castle. I don't think anyone's beat Memorial. And if anyone does, it'll be number 2 Gibson Southern, which beat Princeton 56-0. Beech Grove is 6-3 after a nice 20-17 win over Tri-West, the Hornets' first 6-win regular season in 5 years. 3A number 10 Tippecanoe Valley beat Bremen 31-7. The Vikings are now 7-2. Wrights is 6-3 after a 21-7 win over 3A number 11 Mater Dei. 4A number 2 East Noble beat Belmont 60-7. Riley Biddle had 243 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. And Alex Scott caught 2 of those touchdown passes. DeKalb and Leo are both 7-2 after DeKalb upset 4A number 5 Lions 31-28. Rucker Ball had a 27-yard field goal as time expired. 6A number 11 Carroll beat Lures 35-10. Carroll is the Summit Conference champion. Heritage Christian beat Owen Valley 49-7. They're 5-4. Huntington North is 4-5 after a 49-13 win over New Haven. And Jay County beat Heritage 15-14 to improve to 3-6. And finally, on Thursday, Michelle, Class 3A number 4 Knox finished its regular season unbeaten with a 64-0 win over Bowman Academy. Miles McLaughlin from the Clan McLaughlin had 271 yards to give him a state best 2,863 and 45 touchdowns. He now has 9,856 yards and 148 touchdowns in his career, entering his final postseason.
Wow, what a special senior season by him. Whew.
Yeah, and we love those McLaughlins. They're the best.
They're not bad at all.
And the Redskins are at Jimtown next week, where he will go over 10,000 yards for his career and probably over 150 touchdowns. Thank you so much to Michelle for joining me. She will be in part 2 of the Scoreboard show, which is coming up later Saturday, where we will discuss the CIC and all of the conference champions from Friday night with Grant Schaus and Michelle, when she wasn't having technical difficulty. And we will be back next week, as we mentioned, with our sectional previews. Please go subscribe so you don't miss a single podcast. Central Indiana Sports Report is brought to you by TG Media, and I love Susie.